Hello students, in our last lecture we studied about the AC source connected with only resistor. Now in today's lecture we will study about AC voltage applied to an inductor. Students, in chapter number 6 we have studied about inductor. Symbol for inductor is L, and we know that when the current flows through the inductor, magnetic field is generated in an inductor. Now students, here AC source is connected with a inductor. Now actually inductor is also made up of wire, a conductive wire, and so in actual case or for a real inductor there is some resistance in it, but here we will consider that the resistance of this inductor is very less, that is negligible. So we can say that the circuit is purely inductive. It does not have any resistance. So for such type of inductive circuit, supply voltage V is equal to Vm sin omega t. As usual, we have taken the same for resistor connected in AC. So from this supply, we get the voltage V is equal to Vm sin omega t. Applying Kirchhoff law, summation of the potential difference across the circuit results in 0. That means whatever the voltage supplied by the source, that voltage is obtained at inductor L, and their summation is 0. So we can say that the source voltage is equal to voltage across the inductor. Now in chapter 6, according to Faraday law, potential across the inductor is given by L di by dt, where L is a self inductance. So if we compare these two equations, you can see here we will keep Vm sin omega t, and in place of VL we will put this. So Vm sin omega t is equal to L di by dt. Now just make the subject di. So if we make the subject di, this L will come to the denominator of left hand side, and this dt will be in the numerator, and we will get this equation. Now this is the current for very small time interval dt. So to find the total current, we have to integrate. So we have taken integration on both the sides. So when we take the integration on both the side, this constant term is taken out. Students, we know that during integration or differentiation, constants are taken out. So what is remained on the right hand side? Integration sin omega t dt. Now students, integration of di is I, and integration of sin omega t dt is cos omega t into 1 upon omega. Once again, integration of sin omega t is minus cos omega t, but here there is omega with a function t, and in integration that constant omega is divided. In differentiation, we used to multiply that constant. In a chain rule, here we have applied chain rule of integration. So this constant is here in the denominator. So now we obtain this equation, and there is a constant in an integration. If we do not write this constant, then also it's okay. But here I have written this because in textbook it is given, that's why I have written. But actually the value of this constant comes out to be 0. It is because the constant term is independent component and it do not change with time, and so this constant is equal to 0. So we have now I is equal to Vm upon L minus cos omega t 1 upon omega. Now next step, students, this omega is now taken out of the bracket and written here, and minus sign is also taken out. So we get this next term, I is equal to this, minus sign we can take it out, but here we have not taken it out, we have kept as it is, and we have used a trigonometric function here. According to the formula of trigonometry, actually cos omega t, we know that suppose if it is cos theta, remember students, if it is cos theta, then we can write this as sine 90 minus theta. So if we put minus cos theta, then these two terms will interchange. This 90 means it is pi by 2 only. So in place of 90 we can write pi by 2. And so minus cos omega t is equal to sine omega t minus pi by 2. Here in place of theta it is omega t. So this is also nothing new for you. You have studied in lower standards. Now using this minus cos omega t is equal to sine omega t minus pi by 2, we get I is equal to Im. Now students, whatever there in front of cos or sine, that is at this place, that should be the maximum value of current, because this is the equation of current. So this must be the maximum value of current, that is amplitude of current I. So here we have written Im in place of this Vm omega L, and that is mentioned here. Now here in place of omega L we are going to write XL. So in this equation number 3, the quantity omega L is analogous to the resistance. Analogous means it is similar to that of the resistance in a resistive circuit. That means we have seen, students, in our previous lecture that Im for a resistive circuit is equal to Vm upon R. So here you can compare these two equations. So whatever the function is for resistor in resistive circuit, the same function is of omega L in inductive circuit. So the work of omega L is also to oppose the current, because even resistor opposes the current. So omega L is analogous to the resistance, and here this omega L is known as inductive reactance. R is called resistance. So here this term omega L is called reactance, but this reactance is due to inductor, and that's why it is called inductive reactance, and it is denoted by XL. So function of XL is similar to that of the R in resistive circuit. So that means XL is nothing but it is omega L. So now here in this equation number 3, in place of omega L, now we will put XL. So this is the formula for the maximum current in an inductive circuit. It is Im is equal to Vm upon XL. Maximum current means it is a peak value of current, or it is an amplitude of a current. We know that current changes from 0 to its maximum value, once again becomes 0, then negative maximum, once again 0. So this value of current is a Im. Now, as I said, this term is similar to that of a resistance. So unit and dimension of XL is same as that of R. Means unit of XL is ohm only. So I have written here, students, the function of XL in an inductive circuit is same as that of R in a resistive circuit. Now if we compare equation 1 and 2 for voltage and current, then it is clear that current I lags behind the voltage by phase pi by 2. Students, remember that in a resistive circuit we have seen that both current and voltage, they are in a same phase. Means if this is the graph for voltage, then the graph for current is also similar to that. So they are in same phase. So angle between the current and the voltage always remains 0. Phi is equal to 0. But here you can see the equation of current Im sin omega t minus pi by 2, and for voltage it is this. So the difference is of minus pi by 2. When you compare these two equations, you will find the difference is of minus pi by 2, and so it is said that here that current I is behind the voltage, lags the voltage, means it is behind the voltage by phase pi by 2, or 1/4 of a period. You can easily see this from the graph. In this graph, from the equations we can plot the graph of V. Equation of V doesn't change, it remains same. So it starts from the 0, but here current, from that equation we can plot this graph in this way. So you can see here this point is 1/4 of capital T. This is one period of time. Up to here it will be half of T by 2, and half of that is T by 4. Once again, students, look here, this is for one period. So in place of 2 pi, let me write here T. Consider this line is for the timeline, not omega t. Consider this is for time. So this will be periodic time T. So half of that, so this will be T by 2, and this point is half of even T by 2. So this is nothing but is T by 4, means it is 1/4 of the periodic time. And you can see this is for the current. So voltage is here and current is here, so it is 1/4 of that part, and that's why it is written here that it lags behind by 1/4 of periodic time. And how it is pi by 2, so that also we can see from the graph. Students, from here to here, this is 2 pi. Half of 2 pi is pi, and half of pi, this point is half of pi, that is pi by 2. So current is behind the voltage by pi by 2. So this is the phase difference between voltage and the current. Same thing is shown in this phasor diagram. Now students, here in this phasor diagram, at time t1, the angle made by this vector v, that is phasor, rotating vector v, that is phasor v, is omega t1. This much angle will be omega t1. At that time current will be here in such a way that the phasor of v and I will make an angle 90 degree. 90 degree means it is pi by 2, and you can see here the rotation is anti-clockwise, that is counterclockwise. So in such case voltage leads the current, or we can say current lags the voltage behind it. By how much phase? Phase pi by 2. So at any time the phase angle between V and I will remain pi by 2. So students, I have written here as shown in figure B, that is in this figure, I reaches its maximum value later than V by 1/4 of a period. And so if we take 1/4 of a period, that is time t1 is equal to t by 4. This time t1 is equal to t by 4. Then in that case we can write that phase angle phi between V and I is equal to omega t1. You can see here at time t1 it is omega t1. So phase angle phi is equal to omega t1, which is equal to 2 pi by t. Why 2 pi by t? Because omega is 2 pi by t, so we have put the value of omega 2 pi by t. And what is time t1? We have taken that time t1 is equal to t by 4, because 1/4 of a period. So I have written here t by 4. You can easily calculate this. You will get that as pi by 2. So phi is a phase angle between V and I. Now power in an inductive circuit. We have studied about power in a resistive circuit. Now this is power in an inductive circuit, denoted by PL, which is instantaneous power. Small p is written. Small p denotes instantaneous power. So P, we know that P is equal to I into V. So here small p is equal to small I, which is current, and small v is a source voltage. But from equation number 1 and 2, value of I is this and value of V is Vm sin omega t. This will remain same for the whole chapter, because voltage we will consider this only. So for this inductor, current obtained is this. Now students, maximum values are constant. So we have taken this out, IMVM. So now this sine omega t as it is, but what is sine omega t minus pi by 2? It is cos omega t, but minus. This is not new. We have already used here. Let me show you. We have written this. In place of minus cos omega t, we have written sine omega t minus pi by 2. So in place of sine omega t minus pi by 2, we can write this. So that is nothing but equation 2 only. In place of this sine omega t minus pi by 2, we are writing minus cos omega t. So that's why it is minus cos omega t for this, and minus is taken out. Remained is cos. Now students, using this formula for trigonometry, that cos A into sine B is equal to 1 by 2 sine A plus B minus sine A minus B. So applying this formula here, we will get this value equal to sine 2 omega t. So students, here you have to pause this video and you have to apply this formula for this situation. See here, this is A. So in this equation, this is our A, and sine B. So this is our B. So just put that values and you will get sine 2 omega t. So this is the instantaneous power. This is instantaneous power. Now we are going to find the average power over a period of time. Average power is denoted by capital P. So this capital PL, L for inductive power it is average of this P. Average of this P, which is instantaneous. So we have taken the average. Average of value of P is kept here. And when we take the average, the constant value, they are taken out. So when this constant value are taken out, what is remained? Simply average of this term. But as I said earlier, if it is normal sine omega t or cos omega t or sine 2 omega t or 3 omega t or 4 omega t, then its average for one period of cycle will be 0. No need to show the method for this. Simply you have to remember. So students, if this term is 0, then 0 into anything will be 0. So it is clear that the average power supplied to an inductor over one complete cycle is 0. And if the power is 0 in a circuit, we can say that there is no power loss in a purely inductive circuit. Power is not lost. Why it is so? It is because, students, look here in this circuit, there is no power loss. Reason behind it is that what happens when the voltage is supplied to this inductor? We know that the voltage is changes according to sine function. So when the voltage increases and decreases, what happens? This inductor produces the magnetic field. So power is used in producing the magnetic field in an inductor. So energy is stored in the form of magnetic field. And then what happens in our next half cycle? This energy is once again given back to the source. Whatever the energy is obtained by inductor from the source, the same energy is given back to the source, and so there is no loss of power in an inductive circuit. Now example number 7.2. Here given for a pure inductor, its value is 25 millihenry and the source voltage is 220 volt. We have to find the inductive reactance and RMS current in the circuit. Frequency of this source voltage is given 50 Hz. Students, frequency 50 Hz means in 1 second it completes this much cycle 50 times. In 1 second it completes 50 cycles. Now example number 7.2. Here given for a pure inductor, its value is 25 millihenry and the source voltage is 220 volt. We have to find the inductive reactance and RMS current in the circuit. Frequency of this source voltage is given 50 Hz. So now I have mentioned the given conditions. Inductance denoted by L is given 25 millihenry. Source voltage capital V means this is the RMS value of voltage. It is equal to 220 volt. We want to find the inductive reactance XL and the RMS current capital I. Frequency, its symbol is nu and it is given 50 Hz. Now students, we know that inductive reactance XL is omega L. But what is omega? Omega is 2 pi nu. So we have written omega is equal to 2 pi nu and L as it is. Now all the values are given. Pi is 3.14. Frequency nu is 50 and L is 25 millihenry. Milli means 10 raised to minus 3. So 25 into 10 raised to minus 3. Now this is your work to calculate. After calculation you will get inductive reactance XL is equal to 7.85 ohm. Unit of reactance is ohm. Now RMS current capital I is equal to Vrms, that is capital V upon XL. Students, very simple to remember this formula. This is similar to the Ohm's law. We know that according to Ohm's law we can write I is equal to V by R. But here in place of resistance, here it is reactance of inductor. Now voltage is given 220. Inductive reactance we obtained 7.85. Calculating this, we will get RMS value of current I is equal to 28 ampere. So students, I hope you understood about the circuit consisting an inductor, that is a purely inductive AC circuit. If you have any doubt, you are free to call me. You can ask me your doubts anytime.